I just found out my wealthy friend owes $17 million, and somehow he's getting richer because of it. Meanwhile, I just made my last mortgage payment and threw a party. One of us is building wealth, and it's not the guy who owns his house. Let me explain how I discovered the biggest lie we've been told about money. It started 3 months ago. My friend Marcus invited me to lunch. Marcus drives a Tesla, owns 3 properties, and takes his family to Europe every summer. I assumed he was debt-free, living the dream. But over coffee, he casually mentioned he owed the bank $17 million. I almost choked on my cappuccino. Here I was, celebrating paying off my $200,000 mortgage early. I'd been dumping every extra dollar into that payment for 8 years. My wife and I sacrificed vacations, we drove old cars, we ate at home, all to be debt-free. And I felt proud, responsible, smart. But Marcus looked at me like I just told him I buried my savings in the backyard. He asked me a question that changed everything. He said, "What did you earn on the money you used to pay off your mortgage early?" I didn't understand the question. I earned peace of mind. I earned freedom. I earned ownership, right? Wrong. Marcus pulled out a napkin and started drawing. He showed me that every dollar I used to pay off my 3.5% mortgage was a dollar I didn't invest. And investments, over the same 8 years, averaged 9% returns in the stock market. The math was brutal. I'd paid an extra $100,000 toward my mortgage over those 8 years. I saved about $12,000 in interest. Great, right? But if I'd invested that same $100,000 instead at 9% average returns, it would have grown to about $200,000. I didn't save $12,000. I lost $88,000. That napkin hit me harder than any financial advisor ever had. But it got worse. Marcus wasn't just keeping his mortgage, he was borrowing more, on purpose. Here's what he explained. He bought his first rental property 10 years ago for $400,000, put 20% down, borrowed the rest. That property is now worth $800,000. It doubled. But here's the thing that broke my brain. He didn't just make $400,000, he made $400,000 on an $80,000 investment because he only put down 20%. That's a 500% return, not 100%, 500. If he'd saved up and paid cash for that whole property, he'd have made 100% return, $400,000 profit on $400,000 invested. But because he used the bank's money, he made $400,000 on just $80,000 of his own money. This is called leverage, and it's how rich people multiply their wealth. But I was still confused. I asked Marcus, "Don't you stress about owing $17 million? Doesn't that keep you awake at night?" He laughed. He told me his properties generate $73,000 a month in rent. His mortgage payments total $51,000 a month. He pockets $22,000 every month, and his tenants are paying down his $17 million debt for him. He owns nothing, and he makes more passive income than I make working 50 hours a week. Then he said something that made me angry. He said the system is designed this way. Banks don't want you to understand leverage. Credit card companies teach you that all debt is bad. Why? Because they want you to be afraid of the debt that builds wealth, but perfectly comfortable with the debt that destroys it. Think about it. We're told to avoid mortgages and business loans, but nobody blinks when you finance a car that loses value the second you drive it off the lot. Nobody warns you about carrying a credit card balance at 19% interest to buy things you don't need. We've been taught to fear the wrong kind of debt. There are 2 kinds of debt. Bad debt costs you money every month and buys things that lose value. Cars, furniture, clothes, vacations on credit cards. That debt makes you poorer. Good debt makes you money every month and buys things that gain value. Real estate, businesses, investments. That debt makes you richer. The rich borrow millions at 3% interest and invest it at 10% returns. They pocket the 7% difference. The middle class borrows thousands at 19% interest to buy stuff and wonders why they're broke. But here's what really made me mad. I could have been doing this the whole time. I have equity in my home. I have a decent credit score. I could have taken a home equity line of credit at 4% and invested it, but nobody told me. not my parents, not my teachers, not my bank. Because the system doesn't want you to know. Banks make money when you save with them and pay off loans early. They earn almost nothing, but when you borrow to invest and build wealth, you win, not them. So they don't teach it. I went home that night and looked at my finances with new eyes. I own my home, no mortgage, no debt, and I thought I was winning. But my house just sits there. It's not making me money. It's not growing my wealth beyond normal appreciation. It's just a place I sleep. Marcus's properties work for him while he sleeps. His debt is phantom debt. It exists on paper, but it costs him nothing. His tenants are paying it, and every month the debt shrinks while his equity grows. Then I realized the most painful truth. By paying off my mortgage early, I gave up leverage. I can't go back in time and invest those extra payments. That opportunity is gone. I traded long-term wealth for short-term peace of mind. And nobody told me there was another option. But it's not too late to change. I still have equity, I still have time, and now I understand the rules of the game. So I made a plan. I'm opening a home equity line of credit, not to buy a boat, not to remodel my kitchen, to invest, to buy cash-flowing assets, to use the bank's money to build wealth the same way Marcus did. Will I owe money? Yes. Will I be uncomfortable at first? Absolutely. But will I finally be using the same tools the wealthy use? For the first time in my life, yes. Here's what I learned. Debt isn't good or bad. It's a tool. A hammer can build a house or break a window. It's all about how you use it. The rich use debt to buy assets that appreciate and generate income. The poor use debt to buy liabilities that depreciate and cost money. Same tool, opposite results. And the biggest scam is that we're never taught the difference. We're told debt is scary. We're told to pay it off as fast as possible. We're told to avoid risk. And while we're being responsible and safe, the wealthy are leveraging debt to build empires. It's not illegal, it's not unethical, it's just information. Information that's kept quiet because it shifts power. So here's my challenge to you. Look at your debt. Is it making you money or costing you money? Are you paying interest on things that lose value, or are you earning returns on things that gain value? If you're like I was 3 months ago, you're probably doing it backwards. You're paying off good debt and accumulating bad debt, and the system is counting on you never figuring it out. But now you know. Phantom debt isn't just for the rich. It's a strategy, and it's available to anyone willing to learn how money actually works. Don't make the mistake I did. Don't give up leverage because you're afraid. Educate yourself, understand the difference, and use debt the way it was meant to be used, as a tool to build wealth, not a chain to keep you poor. The rich aren't smarter than you, they just know the rules. And now, so do you.